Thanks, Molly, Alyssa, and everybody. I don't want to go totally off script, but I did want to follow up with two specific things. One is I want to make sure, because our group didn't get to the who's going to support you in this, so I do hope we get to that in the Mentimeter and maybe not focus totally as much on the takeaways, but I think we will proceed with that. And for me, I wanted to mention two things. One is just we have with some of the genetic counselors who were in one of the breakout rooms with me already contacted Planned Parenthood in Baltimore to see if there's some way or what's going on in terms of genetic services and Planned Parenthood, which is not something I know really, and that involved reaching out to my daughter, who was an OBGYN resident here, rotated through Planned Parenthood. And so I'm just opening up that genetic counselors and my own family provide a lot of support to me. Fred, I appreciate that the music in the last session was more in the orchestral zone or quiet zone, but I would like We Are Family in the background, if we could do that at a low. I haven't ever asked you specifically for a background music, but I'm taking a prerogative here of a little We Are Family. So I'm just going to summarize, and then we do have a Mentimeter for those who want to stick with it. So it's been really a great 2 days, sharing stories, journeys, and knowledge, reflecting on what has brought us to this place, acknowledging human variation, working to undo exclusion and racism, and staying open to each other's history, perspectives, and wisdom. Thanks to our speakers and audience, we're grateful for our exhibitors and your communication in breakout rooms, QA, Google Docs, you name it, we've done it. This morning, Michelle, Mylinda, Alex, and Ray Lynn grounded us in getting thinking going about ways to strengthen the ties of primary care and genetics. Dr. Khoury and the NBS panel, Natasha, Kristen Sika, Suzanne, Beth, Miriam, Michelle challenged us to think about the great achievements of newborn screening and the challenges of equity and precision medicine. Melissa, Jen, and Carolyn shared office practices and workforce expansion that can facilitate counseling and testing. And Deanna, Kathy, Lloyd, Eleanor, Daniel, Miranda, and Alyssa updated us on telegenetics. And as we've just discussed, Molly and Alyssa pulled together our major themes of access and collaboration, and now it's up to all of us. So Erica, if you want to start, again, we do call it your main takeaway from day 2, or it can be from the meeting.
The link is there in chat, and as people start answering, I'll share those results if they're coming in. This is a big question, Joann. Takeaways for 2 days.
Yep. All right, it looks like lots of different sessions have gotten specific takeaways, people open to working together, thinking about the primary care genetic models and all of the varied perspectives. And we are going to ask, I think, a next question in terms of one action step you will do after today. I mentioned one I've done and all, but whenever you think, Erica, we can move to the next question. Let's do that.
We have that next question set up to be in chat.
Sure.
So that if people want to help each other with those action steps, or if they want to see who's out there doing what, there is that opportunity that people can see me.
Let's take a moment on that. So we have folks who are engaging PCPs in their own networks, as well as working collaboratively on finding mentors in your particular states or areas.
And Joann, I am getting some people chatting just me. So some of the answers, I don't know if because is how it's going at this point. So I think you can move on, and we will have time in the after party for people to share more.
All right. All right. So again, one of the things you've heard throughout this is we value your feedback. Hopefully those of you that were here last year and even from day 1 to 2 have seen that we've tried to modify things based on your feedback. And again, just a few slides on CME and CEU. So next slide. And again, hopefully we've bombarded you enough about this that we've answered all your questions, but no, we're still open to those. Again, the CEUs come through the NSGC. You have to have been in the live webinar to get credit. Hope many of you have had the chance to do that. Again, these are at no cost, and if you have questions, go to the brochure. Alyssa is available for follow-up. Next slide. And then for CME, again, I'm not going to read all these slides, but again, we've been approved for the 8.25 credit. So please, make sure you obey instructions, and we hope you'll take advantage of that free CME as well. And next slide. Again, the brochure and agenda provide additional details on this. And again, we are open to questions. Next slide. All right, so again, there will be by email the quick survey. If you haven't seen it in the chat or haven't had a chance to do that, the info on CME and CU will come this week. And then again, we will clarify how we can share all of these valuable documents and recordings as easily as possible for all of you. Again, the information is on the website, or will be on the website as well. Next slide. All right, I have one slide up, but I'm going to not talk through this one. I think there's another slide after this, and then I just have some very closing remarks. I'm not going to read the Spanish, but again, for those that are new to this group, again, welcome on board. And for those who have been part of it in the past, I think, we persevere and we will meet again. Years ago, Research America, an advocacy organization supporting resource, got us to think about then: inequities, exclusion, misapplied discoveries, and yet some progress not always understood. Now, this conference demonstrates there are continuing challenges of structural racism, inhumanities, the world war, violence, barriers and division, and yet some progress. Research America also asks us, and I think in our clinical and ongoing educational and other work with families and families themselves, can imagine the future, and that the future will be different because of our work together. Ola Joseph, a Nigerian storyteller, once said, "Diversity is not about how we differ. Diversity is about embracing one another's uniqueness." And yet we clearly live in a world of relationships that are enormously important in making our lives and our work go forward. So again, with my deep thank yous for all of the participation, the work with Erica, Fred, and team, with each of you in the breakout groups, extending yourselves. We need some louder, fun music here, Fred, or maybe we're in the zone for a little orchestral music, but then turning it back to Erica for those who would like to continue. And I hope you do find support in both your work and lives going forward.